What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, alright, we're coming back to Adele. Yes, indeed, Adele Fans Feeling You. Come on now. Here we go. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all of the clicks and the likes and the bibbidi-bibbidi bop, do me a favor, before you do all that stuff, please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from JFK, and this is actually one of JFK's 3 prioritized requests for the month of November for being a gold tier member on the Patreon page. So, here you go, JFK. Hope you enjoy the show, man. JFK wanted to see me react to this song by Adele called Rolling in the Deep. Now, have I heard this song before? Okay, this is where things are going to get a little complicated. Technically, yes, I have. I've done a reaction to a cover of the song done by Linkin Park, but I haven't heard the original. So this is kind of walking that fine line of, is this really going to be a reaction or not? The way I look at it is this. I did a reaction to the cover, but there's no telling how far out into left field the cover went. I don't know if that was a carbon copy cover or if they really kind of took it in a different direction. I don't know. So we're going to kind of check this out, play this one a little bit by ear, and see how it goes. So bear with me, folks. We may be in for a rough ride or a smooth ride. I really don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. Anyway, let's see. This was posted by Vance12005. Okay. And the video has 29 million views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Adele, Rolling in the Deep, live at the Royal Albert Hall. Cool. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
This next one is going to be my last one, and I'm going to do a very nasal version for you now. I'm a bit bunged up. So sing along and help me. Thank you so much. This is Rolling in the Deep. There is a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch, and it's bringing me out the dark. Finally, I can see you crystal clear. Go ahead and sell me out, and I'll lay your shit bare. See how I'll leave with every piece of you. Don't underestimate the things that I will do. There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch, and it's bringing me out the dark. The scars of your love remind me of us. They keep me thinking that we almost had it all. The scars of your love, they leave me breathless. I can't help feeling we could have had it all. You have my heart inside of your hand, and you played it to the beat. So, baby, I have no story to be told.
Okay, first thing that comes to mind, the very first thing that hits me is this doesn't sound anything like the cover that Linkin Park did. They Linkin Park took this song and really pumped the brakes hard. They really slowed it down compared to what we're hearing here. This is far more upbeat. This is far more, foot on the throttle type of a feel to it compared to what I heard from the Linkin Park cover. So that right there, that's definitely a big difference. The direction of the song sounds about the same. I think we're in the same key even. If I'm not mistaken, I think we're still in the same key, but it's just amazing how all you have to do is just, increase the tempo a little bit, or in Linkin Park's case, decrease the tempo a little bit, and you can make the song sound completely different. I appreciate the fact that she's using live musicians. She's not utilizing track, as far as I can tell. She's not utilizing track. I could be wrong about that, but I mean, I'm seeing the instrumentation. I'm hearing the instrumentation. I'm hearing the acoustic guitars. I'm hearing the electric bass. I'm hearing the analog drums. I'm hearing the backing vocals. So from what I can tell, there's no track usage. So that's nice. I absolutely appreciate that. As far as live performance goes, she's doing more than I was expecting. The crowd engagement, interacting with the crowd, I like that. Crowd interaction is a good thing. She's got the stage presence. Stage energy, not so much. I mean, she's not really moving around a whole lot, but I don't really think she's known for that, but it's still a criteria, so there's that. Let's see. Stage interaction, nah, not really. I'm not seeing any of that either. Showmanship, sort of. Right now, the live show's kind of a wash. It's not helping, but it's not hurting. It's kind of negating itself. But at least we're not going down in the negatives because of lack of live show, so that's good. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how this goes, I guess. Let's keep going.
But I've heard one on you, and I'm gonna make your head burn. Think of me in them depths of your despair. Make it a home down there as mom showed me said. The scars of your love remind me of us. They keep me thinking that we almost had it all. The scars of your love, they leave me breathless. I can't help feeling we could have had it. You could have had it all, rolling in the deep. You have my heart inside of your hands, but you played it with a beating ready. Throw your soul through every open door. Count your blessings, find what you look for. Turn my sorrow into treasured gold. You pay me back and kind of reap just what you saw do. Boy, wow, behold. Thank you so much for making one of my dreams come true. It's been amazing, thank you. I want you to sing along with me. I'm gonna do it, and then the girls, and then you, and then we'll all do it together. You're gonna wish you never had met me. Tears are gonna fall, rolling in the deep. You're gonna wish you never had met me. Tears are gonna fall, rolling in the deep. Your turn.
Kick. Thud.
You're gonna wish you never had met me. It all. We could have had it.
Oh, we got production.
You could have had
Huh. Interesting. Interesting. There's a. I'm gonna save it. I'm not gonna explain it right now. There's a reason I'm saying interesting. And we're gonna talk about that along with everything else, obviously, in the review. So let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review, and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Adele with Rolling in the Deep. This was a request from JFK, and this was actually one of JFK's 3 prioritized requests for the month of November for being a gold tier member on the Patreon page. So there you go, JFK. Hope you enjoyed the show, man. I have a score, and it's gonna require a little explanation, because some people may be a little shocked by this. Before I give my score, though, let me just say that I have heard the song before as a cover that was done by Linkin Park. Now, having said that, though, this didn't sound anything like that cover. Linkin Park definitely took the song in a different direction and a different feel. So I still feel confident doing this as a reaction. So I still feel this qualifies because it didn't sound anything at all like the Linkin Park cover. So just keep that in mind, okay? I just want to be straight with everybody, full transparency, not trying to hide anything. So there's that. All right, let's get to the score, shall we? On a scale of 1 to 10, believe it or not, I'm going to give that an 8.0. Yep, 8.0. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay, first things first, an 8.0, what does that mean? Well, an 8.0 would translate to a great scale rating, so overall, I think this was a great presentation. It would get 4 out of 5 stars and an A- letter grade, so there you go, an 8.0, great scale rating, 4 out of 5 stars, and an A- letter grade. Now, how did I come up with that score? Oh man, I am so glad you asked. Okay, if I'm being honest, this style of song, this style of music, it's really not in my wheelhouse. It's really not my cup of tea. Okay, I'm not gonna say that I hated it. I didn't hate it, and I'm gonna further prove that point later on. I didn't hate it. I didn't dislike it. I didn't love it. You know, I'm not sitting there going, "Oh, this is the most amazing song I've ever heard in my life." No, no, it's not. From a complexity standpoint, it's a very easy, simple song to follow along with. It's not hard. It's one of those songs where you hear it 2 or 3 times and you've got it. You've got it. You could absolutely play along with it, no problem. Having said that, though, the arrangement of the song, the chordal progression, the melodic lines, the harmonic lines, everything made sense. The feel of the song, the tempo, compared to the Linkin Park cover, I gotta say I like this version better. I don't say that lightly, but I'm just gonna straight up say it. I do prefer, purely from a tempo and feel standpoint, I prefer this version better. I absolutely do. Had a lot more life to it, a lot more energy, a lot more drive, and I absolutely appreciate that. Shout out to all the musicians joining her on stage. I know they're all probably hired guns, but they still did a fine job nonetheless. They definitely earned their paychecks that day. I was really glad to see the usage of live musicians as opposed to utilizing track. Now here's the thing. When it comes to songs and music like this musical style, it would be very easy to utilize track and not have to pay those hired guns, you know, even if you're paying them scale. She had how many people on stage? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She had 7 musicians on stage and backing vocalists. Paying each of them scale, you know, even if it's scale, let's see, that'd be, how much would that be? That'd still be about that's a little over $3,000 probably. So I don't know how much scale is for backing vocalists. I don't know if they're on the same scale as musicians are, but I mean, it's still probably somewhere in the realm of, $3,000. And I know to someone like Adele, $3,000 is probably nothing. It's probably pocket change. But the fact that she's still willing to go into her pockets and pay live musicians to be on stage playing the songs, as opposed to utilizing track, which you don't have to pay anything to, I appreciate that. And I appreciate the fact that she was willing to go that extra step. Because let's be honest, how many pop groups have we seen just on this channel where that wasn't the case? Where we've seen, singers go out and use nothing but track. And I've always feel like live musicians get a little chinsed on that end. I feel like it's kind of unfair to them, but it is what it is. It's the industry we live in these days. Big shout out to her for allowing herself to have live musicians on stage, and they sounded really nice. They did a fine job. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about, obviously, we got to talk about her vocals, Adele's vocals. Not really a whole lot to talk about, other than the fact that I think she sounded really good. I mean, she did, especially in a live setting. Her range, not the most, impressive, when it comes to notation, how high she can go, how low she can go. But I will say her tone sounded good. It was even funny when she said at the very beginning that she's probably going to sound a little nasally. I didn't really hear the nasal tone. I was looking for it because it didn't stick out. And I'm like, that doesn't sound nasally. Maybe I'm missing something. And I started listening a little closer, still didn't find it. So I don't know why she was talking about nasal tone. I didn't hear it. She sounded fine to me. Her range, while maybe not the most impressive, was done very well. Listen, I would rather have a vocalist with this much range who utilizes that much of it to the absolute max of her capacity, rather than have a vocalist that has this much range and they only utilize that much of it to the very max of their capacity. I'd rather take the first, thank you very much. And I think she does a fine job of that. She demonstrated it well here. Everything that she did sing sounded just fine. I had no issue with anything she sang. Didn't hear anything that stuck out like a sore thumb, nothing sharp, nothing flat. Well projected, good tone, good power, good pronunciation, good vowel formation. I got no issue with anything she did with her vocals, so her vocals sounded just fine to me.
Now, who can argue with that? Rub it!
As far as the live performance go, if I'm being honest, the live performance was a bit of a wash. If we go down the checklist, the criteria checklist, let's just go down it. Stage presence, yeah, I think they had it for sure. They didn't look like a bunch of roadies, wandering on the stage looking for their tools. They looked like performers, so I'll give them that. Stage energy, I'll give it a check, but it's a weak check. It's kind of on the weaker side. She did move around the stage a little bit. There was purpose behind it. She only did it like twice though, so I mean, like I said, it is checked, but it's a weak check. Stage interaction, none, zero, zilch, nada. I mean, it's not uncommon in a situation like this. When you do have hired musicians, you don't see, the lead performer, the headliner, the main event. You don't see that individual interacting with the hired help. You just don't see that very often. So I'm not surprised that didn't happen, but at the same time, that checkbox is still unchecked. So, yeah, there was no stage interaction. Crowd interaction. Okay, here we go. This is where things get interesting. Big check. Big check. And the reason I'm saying big check is she didn't just do it once. She did it multiple times throughout her entire song, throughout that entire performance. She did it like, 3 times, 4 times, where she interacted with the crowd. That's what we call sharpening the saw. They don't just do it one time, and you'll see bands do it. Well, they'll interact with the crowd one time and that's it. Usually, about 3/4 of the way through the song, lead vocalist interacts with the crowd and that's it. Well, that checkbox does get checked, yes, but it's way better if you do it once in the beginning, again, a little in the middle, a little further in the middle, then toward the end. You're constantly coming back and resharpening the saw. She did a great job of that, so I absolutely give her props for that. Showmanship. Yeah, I'll give it the check. I'll give it the check. I think she did put on a fine show. She did a lot of engaging with the crowd. She did a lot of movement within her little space when she was, standing in her spot and singing. She did, utilize her arms to help tell the story. So there was some showmanship there for sure. Production. Yeah, I'll give it that. The confetti coming down. It is production. It was right at the end, but it still counts. It still works. So looking at the live show, it did help a little bit. It did come up a tad just because of that. So yeah, the live show did help. Not a lot. It didn't help a ton, but it did help out a little bit. Now here comes the interesting thing. This is when I was kind of sitting there looking at the screen going, interesting. That's interesting. Here's what I was talking about. That was a 5-minute long video. It didn't feel like it. It felt like about 4. Like somewhere between 4 to 4:15. That's why I was kind of surprised when it ended. I was like, is this really the end? And I looked at the time. I'm like, wow, it really is. That was 5 minutes. Time flew by. Now, time doesn't fly by if you're having a bad time. Time doesn't fly by if you're, bored or you're miserable or you're just anxious for this to be over or whatever. No, that doesn't happen. So that tells me that while I may not have necessarily enjoyed the performance and the song, I may not have been the biggest fan of it, at the very least, I was engaged. So this kept my attention. This kept me interested, at the very least, to allow time to pass by a little faster than it actually did. At least if it allowed time to feel like it passed by faster than it actually did. You know what they say, time flies when you're having fun. Well, it's not always necessarily fun, but you can be engaged and have that happen as well. And I can say that is definitely the case here. That definitely helped. As a matter of fact, that was the factor that pushed us up to 8.0. I was hovering like somewhere between a 7.8, 7.9, but you take that into account, the fact that time flew by for me. Surprisingly, in a situation like this, I gotta give it a bit of a bump. There's always gonna be those little things, those little happy little accidents, as I like to call them, where you have things undescribables, things you just can't be prepared for, things like that you have to kind of take into consideration sometimes. And whenever I can, I do, whether it be for better or for worse. That's really up to the circumstance. But it in this case, it definitely worked in their favor, and it bumped it up into the 8s. So it's an 8.0 at the very bottom of the 8s, but it's still in the 8s and not in the 7s. What would you rather have? Would you rather have a 7.8 or a 7.9, or would you rather have the 8.0? I think you'd rather have the 8.0. Let's be honest here. Okay, so then that's how we came up with that 8.0. Take everything into account that I just talked about, combine it together, and you got it. 8.0. Yeah, without question. I feel good with that score, and that's where we're going to stay. So let's wrap everything up here in a nice shiny bow, shall we? We have an 8.0, which is a great scale rating, 4 to 5 stars, and an A- letter grade. Take your pick. I don't care. Whichever one of those floats your boat. Final word, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hope I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, then I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, well then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for the night, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.